a hallmark of aging, is like a sign or a clue that tells us how our bodies change as we get older. These hallmarks are like pieces of a puzzle that help us understand aging process and age-related diseases better. To make all further information more clear for you, let's first take a short tour into our cells. Our bodies are made up of organs, which are made of tissues, and tissues are made of cells. Inside these cells, there are even smaller parts, called organelles. They are like tiny machines that do specific jobs to keep the cell running smoothly. All of these parts are surrounded by a watery substance, called cytoplasm. At the cytoplasm, there is the nucleus, which acts like the control center of the cell. It's where the cell's activities are managed, and it holds something very important, DNA. The genetic material that carries instructions for everything the cell needs to do. DNA is packed into structures, called chromosomes, along with special proteins. DNA is like a recipe book, and specific sections of it make up genes. Genes contain the instructions for making proteins, which control functions and provide structure to organelles and other parts of the cell. Because proteins are essential for cellular activities, every cell contains DNA, which means that genes, holding the blueprints of life, are present in each and every cell. Now, after this short introduction, let's return to our main theme. In 2013, scientists found 9 important hallmarks of aging. Since then, lots of research has been done to learn more about them. Recently, 3 more hallmarks were added. Let's break down these hallmarks one by one, so we can understand how they work, and what they mean for our health. Genomic instability. This is like having tiny mistakes in our DNA, which can happen more as we get older. These mistakes can cause problems in our cells, and might lead to diseases. For example, when our cells divide, sometimes they make errors in copying their DNA. Over time, these errors can add up, leading to mutations that can cause diseases, like cancer. Telomere attrition. Think of telomeres, like the caps on the ends of our chromosomes. They protect our DNA strands, but they get shorter as we age. When they get too short, our cells might not work as well, which can make us age faster. Scientists think that this shortening of telomeres might be like a biological clock that counts down the lifespan of our cells. Epigenetic alterations. This is like changing the instructions for how our genes work, without actually changing the genes themselves. These changes can happen as we age, and might affect how our cells function. For example, certain chemicals in our bodies can attach to our DNA, and change how our genes are turned on, or off. These changes can influence things, like cell growth, metabolism, and immune function. Loss of proteostasis. Our cells are like factories that need to keep things clean and tidy. Proteostasis is about keeping the proteins inside our cells in good shape. As we get older, it can be harder for our cells to do this job, which might cause problems. For example, misfolded or damaged proteins can build up in our cells, and interfere with their normal functions. Disabled macroautophagy. Macroautophagy is like a cleaning crew inside our cells, that gets rid of old or damaged stuff. However, as we age, autophagy becomes less efficient, leading to the accumulation of cellular waste products, and contributing to cellular dysfunction. Deregulated nutrient sensing. Our bodies need certain signals to know when to eat, and when to stop. But as we age, these signals might get mixed up, which can affect how our bodies use food and energy. For example, as we get older, our bodies might become less sensitive to insulin, the hormone that helps regulate blood sugar levels. This can lead to insulin resistance, a condition associated with aging and age-related diseases, like type 2 diabetes. Mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria are like little power plants inside our cells, making energy for us. But as we age, these power plants can get damaged, which might make us feel tired and weak. Mitochondrial dysfunction is characterized by decreased energy production, and increased production of reactive oxygen species, which can damage cellular components, and contribute to cellular aging. This dysfunction is implicated in various age-related diseases, such as cardiovascular diseases, and neurodegenerative disorders. Cellular senescence. Sometimes, our cells stop working like they should, stop dividing, and enter a state of irreversible growth arrest. Senescent cells can accumulate with age, and secrete inflammatory molecules, contributing to chronic inflammation and tissue dysfunction. Stem cell exhaustion. Stem cells are like repair workers for our bodies. With age, stem cells become depleted in number, and lose their regenerative capacity, impairing the body's ability to maintain and repair tissues. Altered intercellular communication. Our cells need to talk to each other to stay healthy. But as we get older, these conversations might not go as smoothly, which can cause problems in our bodies. Chronic inflammation. This is like having a little fire, burning inside our bodies all the time. Chronic inflammation is characterized by sustained activation of the immune system, and elevated levels of inflammatory molecules. As we age, chronic low-grade inflammation, often termed inflammaging, becomes more prevalent, and is associated with various age-related diseases, including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and neurodegenerative disorders. Dysbiosis. Dysbiosis refers to an imbalance in the microbial communities that inhabit our bodies, particularly in the gut. With age, changes in diet, medications, and immune function can disrupt the balance of beneficial and harmful microbes, contributing to inflammation, metabolic disorders, and impaired immune function. All these hallmarks are connected like pieces of a big puzzle. Changing one can affect the others, which shows us that aging is a complicated process. Understanding these hallmarks can help us find ways to stay healthy and live longer. In next videos, we will make detailed reviews of various factors and conditions that influence these hallmarks, thereby slowing down or accelerating aging process. So, subscribe this channel and click on the bell icon not to miss interesting updates.